Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius and welcome to my fish room. So I've been keeping fish for several years now and it's definitely an awesome hobby. However, it's not the best hobby for this little fella right here.
Times are as tough as the drought of '83. And now he's off to the co-op to buy stuff we can't afford.
So after this video, I want you guys to be able to save a little bit more money in this hobby and enjoy your hobby a little bit more conveniently. So throughout this video, I'll be finding different things in my household that can benefit my aquariums. These things most likely can be found in your household, and if not, they can be easily bought at a local grocery store. These things are tried and proven, and they definitely work in your aquariums. However, I highly recommend that you do your research first, that you may know the dosage, the amounts, if your tank even needs it all together. You definitely don't want to go willy-nilly just tossing these things in your tanks because I said so. They do work, but you definitely got to make sure you apply it as necessary. So YouTube, here's a look at common household items that can benefit your aquarium experience. Okay everyone, so the first product I want to bring you guys is something I use all the time in the fish room, and that is Epsom salt. So it really doesn't matter what brand you choose as long as it's 100% pure Epsom salt, but this stuff works wonders in aquarium hobby. I use it for a number of different things, including treating ick disease. I use it to treat bloat, and just about any disease or parasite that attacks my tank, Epsom salt is usually the first way I go at it, and usually about 6 out of 10 times Epsom salt solves the problem. So this is definitely a great product when it comes to fixing injuries or illnesses in your aquarium. And as an added bonus, Epsom salt is also a great fertilizer for your plants. It provides magnesium, and you know certain plants love magnesium like Amazon swords and lilies and stuff like that. So it's definitely a great product. You can use it for, once again, treating diseases and illnesses, and also fertilizing your plants. So Epsom salt is something you can find at just about every grocery store, and it's definitely something I love using in my aquariums. Okay everyone, so you probably keep this next item right next to your Epsom salt, and that is baking soda. Baking soda is proven to be a good method to raise your pH in your aquarium. Now, as I said in the beginning, before you add any of these products to your aquarium, make sure you do your research and make sure if and how it applies to your tanks. But this has been a proven method to raise the pH in your aquarium, and I have used it several times in my African cichlid tanks with great results. Okay everyone, so the next item in this list, if you ever go to a grocery store, these will probably be in the same aisle as the last two products, and that is hydrogen peroxide. So this stuff has been proven to kill pest algae in your aquarium. You can use it in both saltwater aquariums and freshwater aquariums, and all you have to do is take a syringe and then directly shoot the spot that's infested with the algae that you don't want, and you should see recoveries within days. I remember that's the same treatment I used for my reef aquarium back when I first was getting started, and it definitely did a good job cleaning up some of that excess algae. Okay everyone, so the next household item is something that comes a little bit unexpected, and that is a simple water bottle. Now this can be used to create a fish trap or an invert trap. So we know a lot of times in our aquariums we find fish or inverts that get into our tank and we want to remove them, but they're not the easiest creatures to remove. So this is a simple water bottle trap that is very effective. I use this to catch my pistol shrimp in my reef aquarium over there. And you know, pistol shrimps, for those of you who keep reef aquariums, are not easy fish to catch. So when it comes to making this thing, it's very simple. Just cut it about, I'd say maybe 1/4 from the top. Cut it like that. From the bottom half, you want to poke a few holes in the bottom so that the entire thing sinks. So you poke, not a lot, just a few holes to assure that it's going to sink. From the top, you take off the top. You invert the bottle so that it's facing inward. Then you simply wrap it with tape. And some people choose to wrap black plastic around it so that the fish can feel, or invert can feel more comfortable going inside. But I was able to catch my pistol shrimp just like this. When the lights go off, he went in. So all you have to do is put a piece of food in there. The fish or invert or whatever it is you're trying to catch, they'll go in and they won't figure out how to get back out. So very simple. Everybody has water bottles, and very effective. And you know, it all depends on whatever you're trying to catch. If you're catching something small, one of these will do. If you want something bigger, obviously you're going to need a bigger water bottle. The next item on my list is vinegar. So as some of us may already know, vinegar is a great glass cleaner. So basically all you have to do is pour a cup halfway full of vinegar, halfway full of water. You take that solution and you put it on a rag or a piece of newspaper. You wipe your glass and it will be streak free, very clear, and just a very visible or appealing look at your aquarium. On top of that, the solution that you make from the vinegar and water can also be used to clean up when your dog goes on the floor. Next, we have another common household item that can be found if you have a toolbox. This can be found inside a toolbox, and this is a common razor blade. Now, there's a number of different purposes that you can use this for in an aquarium hobby, but the main reason why I use one of these is to clean up nuisance algae. So you know, most algae you should be able to wipe away easily with just your hand. However, some algae like to stick very tough to the glass. That was the case with this green algae in my planted tank. It stuck so hard, and then when I tried to rough it up with my hands physically, I felt as if I was gonna bust through the glass. So instead I went and got this little razor blade and it removed it in seconds. So it's definitely good for that. Also in your marine reef tanks, if you keep reef aquariums, if you have coralline algae, you know coralline algae is a sign that your tank is in good health. However, sometimes it grows in awkward places like in front of your glass. And coralline algae is another algae that's hard to wipe off. But with one of these, it makes it very simple, a job that takes no more than a few seconds. So the simple razor blade is awesome in this aquarium hobby. Okay everyone, so the next item on my list is a kitchen item, and that is garlic. So garlic has a very unique power. So really, you get a small piece of garlic, and garlic for some reason causes fish and a lot of different animals to build an appetite. And you can use this when it comes to fish that just don't want to eat, or if you're trying to get your fish to eat a medication that might not taste too good. So basically what you do is you get a cup of water, tank water that is, you take the garlic, you drop it in, and then the fish food that you're trying to feed to your fish, you let that soak with the garlic for a few minutes. Right now I'm just using some Hikari sinking cyclic gold. And then, so if your fish isn't eating, this is how you could get the food to be more appealing. And if you want to get your fish to eat some medicated foods, you could just toss in the medication. Right here is Epsom Salt, which is a good cleanser for your African cichlids that helps go through your system to make sure they don't catch blow disease. So yeah, you just let it sit in there, and I let it soak for a few minutes every now and then, mixing it up. And if only you could smell this garlic smell is just getting really strong in the fish room. But after a while, you come toss it in your aquarium, and then your fish should gobble it up pretty quickly, taking all the nutrients of the Epsom salt and eating as you want to eat. I just recommend that when you're treating fish like vampire fish, you do take your precautions. The next item on my list is a cucumber. And not just cucumbers, but just about most green vegetables, including zucchini, broccoli, spinach, and just most green vegetables are edible by your aquarium fish. It's a good supplement for algae-based foods and plant-based foods. We know sometimes our aquariums can't produce enough algae, and sometimes fish just love to eat plants, which a lot of us don't want. So a good supplement, a good way to give them the nutrients that they want from plants and algae is with vegetables. So cucumbers, zucchini, broccoli, once again, all these are good supplements for algae, and they are good for your herbivore and omnivore fish. Okay everyone, so the last item on my list is a clipping of the houseplant pothos. So I'm probably not pronouncing the name right, but it's that plant that kind of grows looking like a vine, and this stuff is awesome in the aquarium. So basically what you do is you take a little clipping. It doesn't have to be big, something like this will do. You stick it in the aquarium. You don't want the leaves to be under the water, so what you could do is just tie it like to the edge of your tank or something like that, and let the leaves be pointing upward. They need to receive a little bit of light, whether it's natural light straight out the window or the light provided from your aquarium. They just need a little bit of light. Eventually they'll produce roots. The roots will get thicker, the plant itself will get thicker, and it'll just look awesome over the course of time. So I started with a little piece like this in my 210-gallon aquarium. Eventually that piece started to climb across the driftwood. It reached the back part of my canopy on an aquarium, and it just looks awesome. It kind of looks like a little bit of a paludarium type of thing, but it looks really cool. And on top of the cool look, it also is benefiting my aquarium because the roots are absorbing nitrates from my water, and also they're absorbing excess nutrients, which will lead to algae. So YouTube, that has been the last item on my list of things that you can find in your household to benefit your fish room, your aquariums, your hobby. So let me know what you guys think. If you know any household items that I may have missed, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want more, subscribe, because you know more is coming. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I want to thank all my subscribers because you guys are just continuously hitting that button, and I appreciate it all. And we're going to close the video out with a drum roll.